This is about to fucking smash my graphics card. This thing fucking sucks. God damn it. Spend all this money on a fucking nice computer and it just fucking ruins it anyway. That's how it always works. Let me take this there. Well, Jake, we're live. We're recording. And
Hey.
I know I didn't tell you this. In fact, I didn't even advertise this one because I was like, man, let's just make sure this can get off the ground. And boy, am I glad. I am not. I am not bothering with this right now. Let me turn that brightness up a little bit. This was I literally sat down to do this. I was like, oh, I'm going to switch over to Zoom. No big deal. Everyone says it's way easier than it is with fucking Skype, right? I was like, perfect. This is going to be great.
And then how did that work?
Well, about 2 hours later, what is it? 2.5 hours, an hour and a half minimum. No, I started at 6. So, yeah, hour and a half later, we're here, and it still looks fine. It's fine, it's gonna work. It seems like we're gonna have less technical difficulties than we did with the when I recorded Andrew Orvidal talking about Dirtfish. So that episode is gonna release tomorrow.
Nice.
But yeah, for some reason my my graphics card, I mean, I'm only using about 34% of my processor, but my graphics card processor is at 100%.
What that?
Which shouldn't be that way. I don't know why it is. Cuz I feel like this just started happening on my second recording yesterday. Because I recorded Orvidal and everything was fine. And then yeah, and then I recorded Troy Walker, and then all this processing shit started going on, and it turned into a little bit of a shit show. So
Super weird.
yeah, I don't know what's going on. It seems like this keeps happening, and and I don't know really how to go about fixing it, but whatever. We're going to figure it out now. I got 3 years of Apple Care, so maybe I just burn this fucker out and then just send it back in, and then I'm good to go.
Nice.
Maybe maybe that's the plan. Well, let's get to it, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm handling quarantine decently well. I've had better, I've had worse. I mean, I'm not sure if I've had better quarantines.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird actually. But yeah, it's been okay. Smoking a ton of weed. I was about to cook up some cannabis oil, and start making all my food with cannabis oil. And then I decided, and then I got lazy. So it's literally just been sitting in this cup, just in the open air for 2 weeks now. So it's gonna be some really good cannabis oil once I get to it. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah! What'd you put in there? Hash or weed?
So this is just weed, but I need to, like this is just the weed. Like I haven't even made the oil. Like I didn't decarboxylate it. I haven't infused it yet. It's just the weed sitting in the air right now.
Nice, just oxidating.
Just oxidate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not good. But I don't really give a fuck because half the time I'm just kind of like using it as a base oil. So I'm just going to throw it down and just see if I can get a little higher than usual.
Yeah. Sleep in a little later.
Right. Exactly. So, but today we're going to talk about my new favorite car, the Corvette Stingray C8, which I originally saw at the LA Auto Show in last year, at the end of last year, I believe, is when I saw this. Right. And it made my dick hard. I loved this. Let's see if I can find this LA Auto Show and find this picture.
Did you see the brown one?
No, I saw the gray one, and I saw the blue one.
Nice.
Yeah, the one at the LA Auto Show. Okay, so that's all right. There it is. The one at the LA Auto Show that was spinning around in circles and everything was the blue one, which was gorgeous. And all of these are raw files except for this one. So let me put this in here real quick and show y'all what this fucking looks like. It's you know, and granted, the lady there was selling the shit out of it for sure. She was for sure like selling the shit out of it, and good Lord, what is this? A 8,000 megabyte fucking image? Okay, so this is the Corvette Stingray C8. That's it right there. That's a fucking gorgeous car. This is the gray one here, Becker.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, personally, I kind of like the gray, but I saw this and I swear to God, it looks like a fucking Ferrari to me. And of course, this is the very first mid-engine Corvette, so everyone's going apeshit over it, including myself.
Yeah, fuck Ralph Nader.
Yeah. What was that? A bumper sticker on the on the?
Nah, we would have had a mid-engine Corvette in like 1969 if he didn't put his dick in the pudding.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He demolished like research on that that's what the Corvair was. The Corvair was a test mule.
Really?
Yeah, and then he made swing axles seem like really unsafe, and they got rid of the idea.
Wait, explain to me what a C axle is, or a swing axle.
Swing.
Yeah. Don't sound too excited about it. You want me to go to Engineering Explained on YouTube?
Well, no, I'm just trying to think of like the easiest way to explain it. Basically, there's not like a static hold, so your axle drops down to maintain.
Independent suspension, like what they have on the Ford Escape, like the back of it, where the it like each one can flex independently.
Yeah, or any modern sports car.
Oh, they're all like that now.
They're not all like that, but they're all independent, and it does like the same thing. But if you were driving incorrectly in a mid-engine car back then and got into a corner and did oversteer, it'd do wild shit that nobody was used to because they just didn't drive cars like that except Porsches, and decided like, no, that's not safe.
Because it was too much weight, so they could kick the ass out faster?
That with the weird new axle design made it to where the car would you'd kick the ass out and then you'd spin out, and it seemed unsafe. Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so wait, but Ralph Nader fucked it up because he was what was he doing that was so, I guess, influential?
Just passionately fucking with the audio industry.
Why?
Well, he was the head of Consumer Reports, and he kind of accidentally did the math and figured out that headrests and seatbelts in luxury cars were saving lives. But that also
accidentally.
Well, I mean, like, he figured it out through doing Consumer Reports. He didn't figure it out by like being on a political thing of like, I got to figure out why cars are killing kids. He just like happenstance to be like, man, less people are dying in these Lincoln accidents than they are in this Ford accident, and they're pretty much the same car. And then realize like, oh, the high-end models come with headrests and seatbelts, so they're not just cracking their neck on small impacts.
Which is exactly what happens for sure.
Yeah. But then he testified in front of Congress and got a taste for that. People are looking at me and care who I am, and I don't just run that magazine for housewives, and I'm gonna make some shit up, and started to like say a bunch of stuff that wasn't necessarily true, and a lot of stuff that was just blatant lies.
Really?
Yeah, you can't blow a fucking Pinto up, man. You can't do it.
Okay.
Like, for real, like car people thinking like Pintos used to explode is the same as like millennial moms being like, I don't know about vaccinations. Like, no, the science is in, and that guy that said it's a proven liar.
What? Okay, gotcha. Okay, so fucking Ralph Nader fucked all this up. That's always fun. But what is mid-engine? Why was mid-engine suffering? Like why did that take the brunt of it? Because they thought that by putting a mid-engine car in there, if you got into an accident, the engine would kill you.
No, it was the workarounds with the suspension and the axle in the back and the swing axle. He deemed that one of his things that was unsafe and
Interesting.
started his crusade on. But like here, I'm gonna turn my phone around and see if I can show you really quick.
Yep.
That's the first mid-engine Corvette.
Oh, that kind of looks like the Ford GT.
Yeah, it also looks like the 67 or the 69 Corvette because that's what they basically had to turn it into after they got told no.
Interesting. But the Ford GT40, that was a mid-engine car.
Like
right. The one that was in the movie and everything.
Yeah, but that's so much lower. It's 40 inches tall. This is like a adult-sized car.
Oh, I got you. So the only way that you could put a mid-engine car or a mid-engine setup in the car was if it was like a race car.
Right. They didn't regulate what you were doing.
They didn't give a fuck.
Car.
So, okay,
yeah.
Got you. That's why they were able to do that, because the GT40 was never available to the public at first.
Right. And then even when they did, they were at the, man, I'd have to look at the years, but I think the first couple of years of the GT40 was before he had really killed the Corvair. So it was killed in like 69.
Gotcha.
Okay. And they were playing with mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars at Chevy for like 5 or 6 years.
So it took 50 years to get back at it.
From 1960 to 2020. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild. Okay, that's wild. Well, that's okay. Well, that's a bummer. That Ralph Nader with the Green Party fucked that one up for everyone, because I mean, honestly, when this thing first came out, the first thought I told Troy Walker, I was like, this is going to they're going after Ferrari. They want to take Ferrari down. It looks like a Ferrari. It seems to drive like a Ferrari. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's an American Ferrari for $60,000.
Yeah, for under $5 under.
Dude, that's fucking wild.
Yeah, their dealers are already reporting that the buyers are skewing way younger than it has in anybody's lifetime that's working at a dealership.
The buyers are skewing under? What does that mean?
Younger, so they're like
younger.
our age.
Oh, younger. Right. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
This is the first time they've rolled out a new Corvette, and a bunch of 35-year-old guys were in line to get it.
Yeah.
Any other time they've ever rolled out a new Corvette, it was a bunch of guys with gray hair.
That's true.
Going like, I'm done working, and I know this is the best bang for my buck, so hook it up.
Right.
Now it's finally people that are even willing, aren't just getting it because of the driving dynamics. People that are getting it because of style and all the other stuff are going for it.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's been a very much a midlife crisis car for the last 35, 40 years.
And it's been a dick extender. It's been one of those things where you're like, oh, like you just want to go fast straight, which is the dumbest. Like, it's fun, but
but that hasn't been true in 15 years. They've been amazing track cars for like 15 years.
The Corvette has?
Yeah, dude, you can take a ZR1 or a Z06 on a track and just tear shit up.
Better than its Ferrari counterparts or its Lamborghini counterparts?
At like $7,000, yeah.
Huh.
You get a C5 for like $7,000 all goddamn day, and you get a 360 Modena for still like, 70 to 100 grand depending on quality.
Wait, I thought that Corvettes handled like ball sack all that, like back like forever.
No.
Because when I drove, now granted, I've never driven a Corvette. I drove the Camaro Super Sport. And that thing felt so unsafe around turns. But doing donuts in it was super fun.
Yeah. Well, part of that's the drive dynamic too, and you being spoiled by being in a Beamer.
At the time I drove it, though, I was only driving my Subaru Legacy.
Well, that was probably part of why it felt unsafe in the corner then too, was you were used to something pulling while you were pushing.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
but I mean, a Camaro's not nearly as good of a track car as a Corvette. But no, the Corvette's been a track eater for years. The Z06 is fantastic.
I just thought that they were always just fast, straight. Like they were never fun for handling.
Well, no, that's not really true. It's been since 1967 when they started putting the 427 and big blocks in it.
Uh-huh.
The big blocks drive like shit and always
because
have,
there's so much weight up front.
There's so much weight in front, and it's stretched out farther over your front axle.
Okay.
Because the block's so long that in order to make it fit, usually there's more weight hanging in front of your tires and your fulcrum.
Right.
So it's not just heavier overall; it's heavier and leaning forward.
So when did they move it to? A small block?
They've always done small block. It's just the big number Corvette up until 1996. If you were getting the big bad Corvette, you were always getting the one with a big block in it.
Got you.
You're getting an extra 125 horsepower, but if you took it to the fucking Nuremberg ring, you were coming out of it 20 seconds slower.
In pieces.
30 seconds. Yeah. You'd be a lap behind the motherfucker. Like they're dog shit. But that's true of almost any Chevy with a big block in it. It's true of almost any car with a big block in it.
That's why I've never. I mean, now, granted, I am still I've never really looked heavily into Chevy cars. I've never really looked heavily into American cars. This is the first time I've ever looked at Chevy and was like, oh, okay, you can play ball. Cool. Because for me, it's always been German cars. It's been, German, it's been Italian, sometimes British, like the Aston Martin's pretty cool. I feel like that's pretty sweet.
Where
is this? I should stop doing.
But they got a 6.2 liter little tiny V8 in this thing. The LSs, and I think the new one's got an LT. I think they changed the classification.
Okay. Yeah, because
engine.
It was just the normal old LS, but it's pushing out a ton of horsepower, and it seems from all accounts to, even though its numbers are lower, it doesn't seem like it's really that much slower than everything else.
No, it's already faster than they promised. It's already testing under 3 seconds for 0 to 60. So the test cars they sent out,
Jesus,
and the cars they delivered, people are pulling 2.8s constantly.
Jesus Christ! This is out of a $60,000 car.
59,995, baby.
That's
and then,
wild.
And the fucking quarter mile on the stock one, a base trim stock one, 11.1. An 11-second quarter mile on a stock car, and it's not even it's not a dragster. It's for cornering, and it's still pulling a fucking stock quarter mile at 11
Imagine
seconds.
What's gonna happen when they supercharge it. What do you think they're gonna do? Supercharge it or turbocharge it?
They just announced today that they're doing a Z06. Let me see if I can pull up anything.
Oh, they announced today?
Yeah. Yeah,
Dude.
Let me see what the number. It's a 600. They just reported to Car and Driver. It's 600 horsepower Z06, and it's gonna. They said it's gonna shriek like a Ferrari, but it's coming up from a 5.5 flat plane crank V8. So it's gonna be.
So it's a smaller motor.
Yeah, but it's gonna have old school power delivery. It's too complicated to explain really without drawing engines. The difference.
So you're saying that a 6.2 liter, because they're both small blocks, but this 5.5 is going to be able to move more? Is it higher compression, basically?
Yeah, it's going to have, basically it's thicker walling, and it's got a different stroke setup.
Gotcha.
But they're basically the same block. That's the thing about Chevy, is their block dimensions and size hasn't changed really. I think the last time it actually physically changed was when they introduced the LS block in 90.
Okay, now I remember you telling me this at your house, and you were saying that what you just said is what pisses off Ferrari so much.
Well, yeah, because Chevy's been cranking out this road going small block V8 since the 50s when they started putting out, I believe the 327 was the first iteration.
Okay.
It might have been the 265 first. I don't know. But yeah, like basically the same design with different ratios of displacement, different bores, different walls, but the same design principle has been just fucking ass since like 1955.
And they haven't changed. They haven't had a need to change it at all.
No, they update certain things. How do I explain it?
But it's still.
It's like,
but you're saying
it's like how Apple kept updating their shit, but they didn't change their operating system until, a couple years ago.
Sure.
It's like that. The idea that makes the engine work, the angles, the shit that's proprietary, that's theirs, they haven't messed with at all.
And that's with how the block is set up, so the valves are all coming at this V at a certain angle to create a certain.
Well, and your knocks at a certain angle, so the pistons are fighting each other at a certain angle. It's the plane that they're on. How
because it can compress at a different ratio on the on this or that's the most like geometrically perfect.
It's very efficient. It's very efficient for what it is, and it's easy to squeeze power out of.
Okay. And no one else can use this this angle.
They can't use the basic Chevy design. So like the way like when you see Alfa Romeo wasn't allowed to use the Ferrari engine, so they cut the fucker. They cut it in half and used it anyway.
Okay.
But that's because the guys who are looking at it at like Road and Track or Top Gear can look at the engine design and just go, "Oh, that's exactly the Ferrari design." Oh. Like you're executing it the same way. You're running their play on paper.
Interesting. Gotcha.
Yeah. So the same way that like a less nuanced way, like you or I could look at an engine and know whether or not it was a flathead.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like a guy like Leno or an engine builder can look at the outside and look at an engine in a nice setup and be like, oh, that's basically doing this. If you got the right angles on it, the front end's off. But but Chevy's put like almost no R&D into this shit. They've put minimal R&D into their performance and truck engine in the last 50 years. I mean,
and it's still just the best, like the best powerhouse for bang for your buck.
Bang for your buck. You can't beat it, man.
I know a lot of folks that put those LS motors in German cars.
In everything, it's the shit. It like the LS motor, the small block Chevy motor. It doesn't even need to be an LS. Any of the designations, an L88, all of them. They're all the shit. I like the strokers. I like 327s, 350s, 383s. They're the bomb, man. You can't get any better. They just work. They hook up. The trannies that work with them work fucking amazing.
That's crazy to me that this fucking motor that is 40 years old, 50 years old is still the
65.
Best. It's still the best.
It's the best. There's better motors. I mean, the Bugatti W16 is a better motor.
Okay, yeah.
Or W12, whatever.
I think they made a W16 as well.
I thought they did. But like they had to spend so much money to figure that out that they're taking a loss selling you a $1.4 million car. Chevy's going to the bank selling you a car that costs less than 60 grand, and it'll keep up with the Veyron until you get on a track that it'd scare everyone.
Because of the motor, really. So and these other companies are basically trying to recreate that. Like Chevy figured it out first, and they're like, "Fuck, now we can't do that." So they're just trying to get their variation as close to it as they can.
Yeah, and different people did different things. Like a lot of European companies focused on the inline sixes throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Ferrari and a lot of the Italians tried to focus on big ass V12s by like basically just overpowering it. Kind of the same idea as a big block, but mounting them mid so that the weight, the size didn't really affect the ordeal.
Sure.
Yeah. And
never got to it.
Chevy just waited them out, let them do all the research on aerodynamics, active aero, mid-engine design, how to set up a car for mid-engine, got it to where Porsches weren't spinning out in races anymore, and then jumped on that pony and we're like, we're going to put that engine we've already proven in the middle of this motherfucker. Watch me now, Mom.
Fuck. Wow. I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's great. And I mean, they're still spending money to figure out suspension geometry and all that stuff. But I mean, how many different 3.2s has Audi put out since we were teenagers? Completely different blocks.
Oh, I don't know that. I assume a ton.
It's several. It's like 5 or 6.
Wow. And it's still totally, the 3.2.
They're the same size, but they're not the same family of motors.
So that's kind of like how BMW's inline 6, that's the same motor concept for 20 years, or right. However long they used that until they went to the like all the M setups were one, and then they went to the N setup and they had the S setup. That's
but the S was like a modified M setup.
Right. It was like the S52 versus the M52, S54, M54. So that's just the same block, because they figured it out kind of like Chevy did. This is a great motor. This is a great platform. We're going to keep fucking with this and just tune this.
But same as Beamer, this will make perfect sense to you. Same as Beamer when they went from the M to the N.
Right.
They didn't really change anything than how it technically worked from a computer standpoint.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
So really,
their block design, their air to gas ratio, as far as like the capacity for a cylinder,
right,
and all that going on inside of there, their design principle stayed the same.
Still to this day.
Beamer, yeah,
right,
pretty much.
Still to this day. Oh wow,
pretty much.
Then all they did was just throw turbos on there, right?
They threw turbos on it, but they made it to where the computer regulated it to where one turbo fed 3 cylinders, the other fed the other 3. That's kind of the same with the Chevy block. So there's been small updates over time that changed the designation from LS to LT or just L88 to L6, the different numbers. But at the core, it's had the same design principle for the whole fucking time. They've like I was just saying, that Z06 is going to come with a flat plain crank. They've had that before in Chevy small blocks. That's not what they're currently running on the LT.
Gotcha.
But the main function, the main design elements are staying the same.
Got you. Okay.
And it's the same as Beamer. So Beamer can turn around and decide they're going to twin turbo something, and the only thing they're really doing R&D on is how to best execute the twin turbo setup, because the motor's already proven. They might use a better cylinder sleeve or a better cylinder head or something like that, but it's pretty. They already know what they're going to go in there and do.
Right. Why? So why are all these companies why are people so obsessed with Ferrari and Lamborghini and Audi and all these companies that keep changing their motor and having to spend all this money on it? Wouldn't you want just a better bang for your buck? Or are they biting the bullet, doing the research and getting the R&D done for everyone else to just kind of steal and modify later?
Well, no, it's not really that. It's they want to win. For Ferrari especially, Ferrari's kind of interested in selling you and me cars someday in our life, but they're really they're really fucking interested in winning this weekend.
Got you. So they're going to do whatever they can.
Yeah, and Lamborghini wants to sell cars, especially now that they're in the Audi VW group. But
Lamborghini
the way they sell cars is that the way they've sold cars, like I was saying, this is the first Corvette that's selling to people our age in so long. The way Lamborghini and Ferrari has sold cars for the last 30 years is, hey kid, do you want to be cool like Michael Jordan, or do you want to look like that guy down the street who got divorced? For real, it's the same as why Miatas aren't hot, man. Miatas aren't cool because your librarian had one when you were in elementary school.
Right, chicks have them.
But it's the best driver's car.
I heard that those new Miatas are fucking dope.
Yeah, and but they consistently have been. They're the best. They're the next step under the Corvette. If you really truly just care, if you don't care about hauling ass, if that's not what gets you a rise, just going as fast as you can and driving a car as well as you can, the most fun you can have is a Miata. Period.
I don't feel like I ever would want to believe that. I feel like if I went to a dealership.
Oh, look it up. This is a popular opinion. This is something you can hear like most major auto journalists say out loud is like, not on paper. It's not maybe what I'd get, but I'll admit that if you were alone in a mountain road and there was no pussy to be had, and no one to impress, you'd end up picking the Miata if you had to have one every day. If you had to go tear that road up every day, and it was between that or this C8, like on the third day, you'd be like, man, once in a while I want to listen to a song. I want to be able to hear the song and drive as fast as I can. I don't want to be scared to death the whole fucking time. And a Miata provides that. A Miata's as fast as like cars were in the late 60s, early 70s, and then faster by a little bit. And it's so light that the tires are at the very edge. You just push it.
Huh. I don't know if I can fit in a Miata. I've driven one once, and I was like, and it was such a small cockpit for me.
The second generations are huge inside. That's the one I like driving.
Okay,
gotcha.
Gotcha.
The first generation, you're in there doing the Italian ape, man. You got elbows up in the air, holding onto the wheel.
That's what. Now, have you seen the cockpit for the C8, the Corvette?
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of bad stitching right now.
Well, I'm excited to see that. I would have thought Corvette would have made it more accessible to fat dudes, because it's fat dudes that are buying these cars. And like I sat in the M2 Coupe Sport, the CS, and at the LA Auto Show, and it was so small, even for me. And I think that my 3 Series convertible is even too small for my thighs. So but the cockpit there looks like it's kind of the same size as those other ones. I mean, does it look like to you like it's
the driver's seat, because of the layout? Are you looking at them?
Mm-hmm.
You see how the center console moves up and away from the driver?
Yes.
So your driver's seat's gonna feel kind of roomy. They sell Corvette seats as office chairs, man. They're bigger than you think.
I would hope so, because
C5 Corvette chairs are very popular office chairs.
Interesting. Yeah, it just looks. I mean, it is super driver oriented. That's for sure. It looks like you're sitting in a fucking jet, like a jet ready to take off.
Yeah,
it's a very sexy driver focused interior. In fact, if you're a passenger, I mean, you're literally just there. You're just along for the ride. It's not. This isn't for you. This is
that's why I mentioned it that way. I was going to say, but if you're in the passenger cabin, dude, you need to be skinny, because that is it is cumbersome. That center console would come all the way up to almost your eye line.
Yeah, it's not that high. It's not that high, but it's definitely not short either.
It goes all the way to the top of the dash.
Yeah, but I still think the way you're sitting, I still think you got a pretty good view of it. God, that cockpit looks good.
Yeah, but it'd make you feel boxed in, man. It's up where like my arm is when you're sitting in the car.
True. It's like you're sitting in the back of a fucking K9 unit.
Yeah, like normally it's down by your thigh, not up by your shoulder.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's any safer or less safe. I don't know.
Oh, I have no idea. You want to see the stitching?
Yes. So you were saying that a lot of these are fucking coming out very poorly.
Look at that stitching, man.
What? Good Lord. That looks like it was hand stitched.
I know, right? By a drunk French guy. Yeah, and it's not a couple of them. It's like a lot of people reporting, and I think it's one.
I think it's from one manufacturer.
No, but I think there's only one of the packages, because you can get a 1LT, a 2LT, or a 3LT right now in the first year.
Okay.
It's only one of the packages comes with the French seams. So I think only one of the packages has had a fucked up interior. But there's other shit. There's a screw in the door area that chips the paint on the door from factory.
Wow.
There's been some. if you get the base model, the front bumper doesn't fit right on the left side no, for real, on the passenger side, so the light doesn't sit all the way in and the bumper fits goofy.
Oh, wow. So in true American car fashion, it it it's made like an American car.
Yeah, and I truly think they rushed. They already canceled the convertible for this year. They were only able to get like 2,067 some odd units off the line before COVID shut everything down.
Gotcha.
So I got a weird, like, this screw hitting the paint chip on the door. That doesn't seem like really like a normal mistake. That seems like they kind of
like a rushed mistake. Right.
They just needed to recoup some cash before they got shut down for the summer.
Because they were basically doing these. They have to program the computers, like the robots, to build these, right? Like, these aren't all hand assembled. These are robot assembled.
The screw is based on a person. Actually, I think these are done at Fisher. I think there's a lot more human involvement than you think.
Really?
Yeah, I think these are Fisher cars.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's just where that's the manufacturing plant they're built in?
Yeah, it's one of the old people that used to contract for General Motors, and then General Motors bought them at some point, I think, in the 60s.
Okay.
But they've traditionally built Camaros. Like the SSR Sport Truck was built there.
I remember that one.
CTSVs, ATSVs.
Gotcha.
A lot of the V cars. I think all the Blackwing V8s were assembled and then sent to be put into the high-end cars over there.
So everyone's super excited that this car gets put out, that this car is the next big thing for low money, and then the first batch of them are just kind of trash. No,
that's the best part, man. The car's so good that the guys who are complaining about this shit being wrong with them are still happy with their purchase.
Really?
Yeah. You buy a brand new fucking Alfa Romeo, and the door doesn't line up right with the seats, man. There's like bad engineering flaws in some cars. Like, this is just easy shit to fix.
Okay. So all the exterior stuff, the drivetrain, the transmission, all of that jazz, that's still
bang.
That's still great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That still hooks up like you want it to.
Yeah. Interesting. I did see the dual clutch transmission. That thing is fucking massive. How big that thing is.
And huge.
The videos. Well, I saw like a chunk of it cut out, so you could see the inside of the deal, and it's fucking awesome. But it is so big. But every video I've seen too, it seems like it's wicked fast. Like, it's like wicked fast.
There's only been a handful of cars in our lifetime that have shown up to the test track and had the journalists go like, "Did you give us a dummy car? Did you give us a car that's too fast? Because this doesn't line up with what you told us on paper." And like this is one of them, man.
So what do you think they're gonna do to kind of fix this mistake? Like, do you think it was a good call to push the car out early?
Yeah, I think with the kind of reviews it's getting,
because you're building the hype.
Yeah, and they were already only going to put out a base model this year with 3 different interior trim packages. And you should really never buy the first year of a high-end sports car.
Okay. I wonder if people are doing this to kind of try to make money on it. Like, buy it, get it, drive it for a couple months, and then sell it for more money.
Oh, maybe. It's hard to tell because, like, again, these have always been such, trailer queens and garage queens. It's a popular way to talk shit about Corvettes to say they get waxed more than they get driven. Because it is traditionally an older guy who's retired and going through a divorce who buys it and cares about it more than he likes driving it. But now they're being bought by guys our age, and they're buying them because it pulls at 2.80 to 60, and you can get it for 10 grand more than a fucking Supra.
Jesus.
Yeah. This costs barely more than a Z4, man. It might be cheaper than a Z4. I gotta look.
The Z4, like the neon?
No, the BMW.
Oh! I'm sorry, the Z4. Yeah. Gotcha. Which is the new Supra.
Right.
BMW Supra, basically.
Yeah. So for $10,295 more, you can get the Corvette.
Jesus.
Or you can get the three. Yeah.
Do people normally do that? Do people normally buy these cars new and then try and sell them for more money?
Not usually the base model ones. Usually the ZL1 package on the last two bodies with the glass window in the hood and shit. Those definitely a little bit. But no, Corvettes honestly haven't held their value in 35 fucking years because it's been the retirees car. They're mass produced. You can get one at any lot. There's nothing special about them.
Sure.
But they sold out this year. They sold out before they delivered.
For the first time ever. For the first time ever.
Yeah, for the first time in like a long, maybe 45 years. They've had specific models sell out, like, you know, a small production run that they did of a limited edition Corvette sell out.
Sure, like the 50th anniversary and shit like that. Yeah.
But they haven't just sold out base Corvettes. I genuinely don't know when the last time they sold out the base model before it delivered was.
So when do you think that they're going to start delivering more cars?
It looks like with the cancellation of the convertibles, it'll be 2021 before we see more.
Got you. So the dudes that have them kind of made the move, getting them.
Yeah, great decision. And they're delivering them right now without the dealer network. I mean, they must be using the dealer network a little bit, but you don't have to go pick it up. They're taking them to customers' houses, showing you everything at home, delivering the car at home.
Dude, I heard at the LA Auto Show, that the car has a computer in it that knows if you hit a big pothole or if you scrape when you're going down a driveway, it logs that in its GPS and it'll raise your nose the next time you're there.
Right. So that ended up only being on the super expensive model this year.
Okay.
But next year, that's a standard option.
Oh, man.
That's true of a lot of the limited slip, I think, is a standard option next year. The Magna Ride with the GPS tracking.
Wait, it's an open differential right now?
I think.
Is that why they're saying you can't do donuts in it?
No, and you can. There's a dealer that's already put videos of himself doing it up online. He's a Chevy dealer. He bought it. It's his car. He's like a salesman that bought himself the car, but then he showed himself doing donuts in it. No, I think you can just get a more aggressive LSD as a standard option. I think it has limited slip either way. Okay. I think you get a tighter one if you go with the 3LT.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that'll be standard going forward. Same with the Magna Ride and the nose lift and all that stuff. That'll all be standard next year.
Because it's all magnetic suspension, you're saying? Magna Ride? Is that what you mean by that?
I don't know if it's all magnetic, to be honest. I wouldn't imagine so, but I know that they put a magnetic system on the suspension so that when you're approaching a curb, the front end lifts like an inch or two. Yeah. So you're not constantly ripping the lip off your Ferrari. They've been doing that in like really high end supercars for years, and it's these mid engine cars sit so low because you can.
Right.
You're not gonna if you scrape the front end. Worst case scenario, you fucked up some aero. You didn't rip the fucking engine out from under the car. You can't lift.
It can just tell with its own sensors, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like a radar sensor on any car now for parking and shit.
Oh, but it's the parking stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think Ford is going to try to come out with something like this? Like, did this just because I've also never really liked the Mustang. I've always thought the Mustang is a girl's car. No matter how hard these dudes try to fucking make their Mustangs cool, they're still chick cars, in my opinion.
I mean, I kind of agree. The Shelbys are pretty rad, but I like the Camaro better still.
Yeah. Do you think Ford's going to try to, or who is their competition in the price range under $100,000?
No one.
That's what fucking baffles me, dude.
There's no one, dude. But that's been the case for the Corvette since the C6, C5. The C5, yeah, man. Since the C5, there's been no one that touches them for less than like 3 times the price.
So why don't they get the respect they deserve? Or is it just me who doesn't like them?
No, it's not. It's a societal problem. Like I'm saying, man, it's that we all view it
as an old man's car.
Is that thing the principal got when his wife left him. And like, yeah, but the reason it's always been that is that it's the most sound decision. The reason old guys have always bought them when they finally decide they're getting a car is you're kind of dumb on paper to get anything else at the price point. Right. And that's the old broken down mentality though that made it unattractive, was that there were guys walking around going, for the dollar, why would I have a Porsche? This fucking Corvette was 14 grand used and it'll blow the doors off a brand new 911.
God, but those Porsches are so fucking sexy though. They're so much sexier. And I feel like they drive better.
Until now.
True.
But part of that was that Corvette was always adhering to this design principle that everybody else gave up in the 80s of just having their long hooded, short wheelbase in the back, little 2-door Roadster. And everybody else was like, nah, we're figuring out the other shit that you got financially scared off of by Nader and his dickhead friends. And then now, finally, Corvette made have you seen the rendering of it as a front engine car?
The current version of it?
Yeah, pull up C8 rendered as front engine. And you'll see exactly why this is the first time it's sexy.
All right, let's pull this up. C8 rendered as a front. All right, sketch monkey. Oh, that's weird. You know what this looks like? Hang on. I'm going to show everybody here. Save image.
It's the orange one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it looks like, though? It looks like a Kia Stinger, doesn't it?
A little bit. I see where you're getting that. The headlight design and the way that the scoop on the side comes in.
Yeah.
But it 100% looks like a Corvette.
Yes.
But that is all of the same design principles that's on the mid-engine, with the hood stretched out to fit an engine and the rear end shrunk back into the wheelbase is where it's supposed to be. It's that much less sexy because it adheres to an old design principle that we've all seen forever. Whereas the new one looks like an R8 or a fucking
Ferrari.
Yeah.
It looks like a Ferrari.
Yeah, but it's just that little tweaking of the design principle that changes the way it is in your head.
Oh, here's like a real looking picture of it. There's that red one that looks like it's actually been made. Do you see that one?
Yeah.
On this same search.
Yep.
Let me show you this.
They've made it like photo realistic with the big Z06 hood.
It's kind of low quality there, but you can see that on there. Yeah, you're right. That does look like a regular Corvette.
But and if you look at the regular C8 next to it, it's adhering to all the same philosophy. It's the same lights, same bumper, same everything. It's just when you stretch it to the back to fit the motor instead of the front, it looks exotic.
It does look exotic.
Yeah, but when it's on the front, it looks like the girl next door. And nobody's into that, man.
Whoa! It took them this long to figure it out. So what do you think the future is?
No. Fuck everyone. They figured this out in 1959, and then Ralph Nader fucked them over. And it took them this long to get not scared to ask that girl back to the prom.
And at this point, she's got kids, a divorce.
Yeah. Everybody else already figured all the hard shit out. Yeah, they're just retiring together.
What do you think their future is?
I mean, based on them,
because they keep naturally aspirating shit. Do you think they're only naturally aspirating it for like Hennessy purposes, so they can give Hennessy something to do.
Yeah. Have you listened to the Callaway one yet?
No. I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
This
pull
is
up the
twin
video.
turboed, you said, right?
Yeah, the one on the dyno. Or no, it is Hennessy. You're right. It's Hennessy.
Okay, that's what I thought. I have heard that then, but I'll play this for everybody else. Or my videos. Hang on. Stand by for the commercial.
How are we looking up there, Sergeant Best?
Like launch a rocket.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Reddy from Rady's Rise. I'm here at the Reeves Motorsports Gathering once a month in sunny Tampa, Florida.
I gotta change this fucking audio. It's coming out of fucking 8.
Dude, it's dynoed over 800.
Florida, walking around, and I came across.
Why is this going out double? Fuck.
I don't know. Fuck it. Let's just talk about it. But it's going up to 800 horsepower, man. And this is their first attempt a month into it being a fucking reality.
And is this twin turboed?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the wrong one. This is the C7. Okay, whatever. Fuck it. So
Oh. Hennessy's saying straight up that they can build you one up to 1200 on the same setup. This is just the first one they did, and they only built it to 8.
But again, why are they going turbo instead of supercharged? Like, I feel like this is such a better platform for supercharging than it is turbocharging.
It is, but
and I feel like traditionally speaking, they have more of this shit laying around. So why are they trying to like make new shit for no reason?
It's not that they're trying. They've been turbocharging Corvettes the whole time too. Callaway and fucking Lingfelter have been turbocharging Corvettes the whole time.
Okay.
But
Hennessy's been supercharging him though.
Hennessy and Callaway and Lingfelter have supercharged them too. It's just that you can get, like we've always talked about, if you don't care about the car, you're just trying to go as fast as you can for 20,000 fucking miles, turbo. And Chevy knows though that if they can sell you a 495 horsepower flat plane crank naturally aspirated, that you can go spend the money on at Hennessy and bump it up to 1200.
Isn't it like, yeah, then you likely would.
Yeah, and go fuck up. Well, I wouldn't. And go fuck up. I'd put a supercharger on it and get it up to like 650 and be happy as shit all day long.
Oh, you're saying you can get more power out of a turbo?
Yeah, you can work a turbo harder. And then when you're already getting gains like this, then you can get superhero gains up to 1200 horsepower by twin turboing it.
Got you. And it's still the same computer at where it's just one turbo's the first 4 banks, the other turbo's the other 4 cylinders, right?
I believe so. Yeah, that's how they got it set up.
Okay. Because to me, it would seem like, I mean, what always bothered me is why superchargers are so much more expensive than turbocharging. That's always kind of pissed me off because I feel like supercharging is you have to do way less work to the car, you know, and the motor, and there's less stuff involved, yet it's way more expensive.
Yeah. It's kind of the same reason.
It.
It's the same reason fedoras are expensive now and they weren't when our grandparents were kids. Nobody buys them. Superchargers sit around, so it's an expensive business to be in.
Weird.
You're building product that sits on a shelf, whereas you're building turbochargers, you can sell at a smaller margin all the time because you're selling 100 a month to people that are going to go blow up their motors and then buy more.
It just doesn't. I mean, you would think all these car guys, like, I must be missing something because you would think all these car guys would fucking.
Well, no, like I've given the company that built the supercharger for the Mini Cooper exactly $0 since we got the Mini Cooper because it needs no parts. And if you have a turbo STI, you're buying spindles and blow off out. You're buying shit that keeps people in business.
Yeah, all right. I hear that. I still don't like it.
I don't either. Supercharging should be the way.
I feel like too, if you were to supercharge this one, I think that would sound so much cooler and so much meaner than a fucking turbo spooling and blowing off.
Yeah.
And then, but I think when Hennessy put theirs out, I think it's like $20,000. I know VF Engineering to supercharge the Lamborghini Huracan, it's like $28,000-$30,000 to do that, but it takes it up to like 800 or 900 horsepower.
Yeah, but a $20,000 kit on that Corvette means that it's a 79,995 1,200 horsepower car.
Right. Which is fucking wild.
And it was pulling 2.8 seconds on 495 horsepower. So what the fuck? It's going to go backwards in time if it's got 1,200 horsepower. That's insane.
I'm excited to see this against e-cars.
I want to see this against an old ACR.
Wait.
Viper.
Okay. Why? The old Vipers were that fast?
The last one from like 2016 or 2017, the last one they built.
Yeah,
they're batshit fast. They're uncomfortable and terrible to drive. You couldn't take one out on the road and have a decent time to like save your life.
I have heard that, but I have heard that they kept with a lot of analog settings. They have it's a real stick shift. It's got an analog dash. I don't like the dash on the Corvette. I know you can change it, and I know a lot of cars are going to computer screens for dash stuff, but I like a tachometer. I like the speedometer. I like how it looks a lot more.
I just kind of don't trust computers to relay me information the way I expect a cable that's spinning to do it.
Right? Because something could go wrong. And if it does go wrong, you can't do shit about it. Like, you have to go to the dealer and fucking go get the computer read, and then hope that they're not fucking around with you.
Yeah. Or if you get a weird tire set, instead of just doing the math like, my miles per hour are probably off by about 4 or 5%. Like, the computer's doing weird shit on how it's giving you feedback, so you don't really know how far you're off at any point.
There has to be a reason for that. It has to look slicker. Or is it more shit to break?
It looks better, and when it breaks, you have to go to a dealership. You can't go to Tom down the street to redo your digital dash.
See, Jake, this is why you and I like old cars.
It is why I like old cars.
This is why we like old cars. If something happens, we can fucking YouTube it and go fix it ourselves.
Yeah, if I get a wild hair up my ass and have a crazy idea, I don't have to go have the computer broken by a mechanic who that's the one thing he does.
Right.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm curious to see, because you heard about this new Tesla Roadster, correct?
No.
Oh, you haven't heard about the new Tesla Roadster? It's not out yet, but it is. Their prototype was doing 1.60 to 60.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's unsafe.
I just don't know. Like, part of me doesn't even know how a tire can hold on to that much torque.
I mean, barely.
Like it seems like we're getting to the point where the cars are going to start exceeding the capability of the equipment around them. Like, you're only as good as your traction.
The last generation Bugatti, not even the Chiron, but the Veyron, the tires were good for 12 minutes. At full throttle, your tires are good for 12 minutes, but it's okay because your gas is only good at maximum 10.
What is that? The 12, right? It's the 12 cylinder?
I think that was the W12, yeah.
Okay.
And then the new one's the W16.
Yeah. Wow.
I think so.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because it's the quad turbo.
That was a $50,000 set of tires, man.
What?
It's $50,000 you're paying for the R&D. You've got the only car on earth that needs tires that sticky. You're the only car on earth that needs that compound to hold that torque, and you paid for the R&D if you're a Bugatti owner.
Who's
went out on
making
a
those
track,
tires?
What now?
Who's making those tires?
I believe it was Michelin.
So wait, so there's tires that they only make for specific cars.
Yeah.
Oh.
I want to see what the new ones cost.
$50,000 for new tires? Are you serious? See,
yeah,
again, that's the problem. Like we are getting these motors that are so much faster. We're getting these cars that have so much more torque from turbochargers and superchargers these tires can't like it. I feel like it's becoming unrealistic to keep up with this. Like you can get the Sport Cup 2s, but like what the fuck?
You can't. Not on a Bugatti with 1,000 horsepower. It'll tear up the Sport Cups. Like you will lose them off the line. But they've gone down in price because a new set's only $42,000 for a Chiron.
Seriously, $42,000 for 4 tires.
$42,000, and they need to be replaced every 2,500 miles, even if you don't blow them.
All right, so I understand. What's up, Caesar? How are you, buddy? I understand. Fuck me running 42. All right, that's just so that's why these cars are so rare, because no one can afford even the upkeep on it.
No, I was just watching a video where somebody, because Leno's on camera saying like, man, this Bugatti's like the most perfect driving car of all time. And he was showing cars. Oh, it was on Offset's new show. He was showing cars to Offset from Migos. And letting him drive it. And he was like, why don't you got, why don't you have one of the new Bugattis in here? And Jay was like, it's too much. And Offset's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you got to ship it to Europe every year to get serviced. It's a $20,000 oil change that I can't do in my own garage. Like there's stipulations to owning it that make it so expensive for no fucking reason.
How is that company even going to continue to survive?
Because they're making all that money off of Porsche and Audi and Lamborghini and VW and.
Wait, what? Wait. Bugatti owns all. Wait, what?
Yeah, VW Audi, VW Porsche Audi owns Bugatti.
Oh.
It's a test bed. They're going in there to lose money. They know they're going to lose money selling you a Chiron, but they're going to figure out how to make a W18 so that in 12, 15 years, they'll be able to put one in a track car for VW or Audi. That's how a lot of R&D is done. That's, BMW does a lot of their shit on Rolls-Royce.
Oh, BMW owns Rolls-Royce now?
Yeah, it has for years. But yeah, so they'll run.
I thought that was a British company.
Bentley and Rolls-Royce used to be one company, and then it got split between VW and BMW.
So VW
fought over it.
VW's just been out here for years, just fucking everything up, and that's just because they're buying all these other fucking companies. Like, yeah, it's not gonna hurt us. What is $1 billion gonna do to us?
Well, and they do it in a smart way where they know they can play with stuff in Bugatti. Then they can introduce it in a more money-making way in Bentley. And then they can kind of phase that into stuff that they can figure out and now engineer into aggressive ways over at Lamborghini. And then 5-10 years when that technology becomes cheaper, they can infuse it into their Audis. And then one cycle later, they can put that in VWs and pay for it 100 times over.
And Porsche's in there too.
Yeah, but Porsche kind of does their own thing and steals whatever they want whenever they want. They don't work in like the order
from the other companies.
Yeah, they come up with their own ideas. Like the Taycan, none of the shit that's being done at Porsche was R&D through any other company first. They're doing their own, very much sports R&D all the time on their own. And then the rest of the companies are kind of spending money with loss leaders so that they can figure out how to make the money forever.
Oh, boy, I've got so much to learn, Jake. Caesar, I'm with you. I used to love my Subaru Legacy. I used to have the Legacy GT 4th gen and 5th gen. We got someone chatting in our chat room over here.
Hell yeah.
Subaru Legacies are dope for sure. And boy, those tires are way. I feel like a brand new Legacy is the cost of a new set of tires for the Bugatti.
Probably a little cheaper.
So Bugatti's only putting out what? 100 cars a year?
That's a good question.
And so are all of these supercars like that, or is that just Bugatti?
No, Bugatti's on. They're hypercars. They're on the next level. They're like Koenigsegg and.
Okay, and Pagani and stuff like that.
We just know about them more because they're also rated as crazy good drivers because VW built them and put all that technology into them.
So So I assume is the maintenance like that for the? First of all, that's fucking ridiculous that you have to ship a car back to Europe to get maintenance on it every year. That seems ridiculous to have that. But
no, about 45 cars a year.
45 cars a year.
Yeah.
Just wasting money on that shit. Wow. Koenigsegg and the Pagani, you don't like the Pagani specifically. I feel like shouldn't have to have that kind of maintenance because it's just a Mercedes engine, right?
Right, but they've tuned the ever living fuck out of it.
So it still has to be worked on at a Pagani dealer.
Yeah, and anytime you're pushing that much power out of anything, every detail matters more.
Right.
So that's why Toyotas run forever, is they're detuned. They're not making anywhere near the power the engine has the potential for, so they're sloppy. There's room for error before it'll break shit. But when you're running a Mercedes engine at triple the horsepower it's comfortable running,
right?
For real, then every fucking piston ring has to be tight. Everything has to be working, because if one thing goes off, it's going to blow and the whole system's going to go to shit.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. Have you ever seen a Pagani in person?
I've not. Oh.
I've seen a lot of them, actually. I went up to Monterey Car Week.
Yeah.
Saw a bunch of them up there. Took a bunch of pictures of them, like live. They are they're sculptures. They are automotive sculptures, is what they are. I like them more than I like the Koenigsegg. It seems to me like it's kind of like Luke Skywalker is Pagani and Darth Vader is the Koenigsegg.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, because like you like look at it, the whole body's carbon fiber. It's very rigid and like bullet, like spaceshipy. And the inside again is rigid. It's nice, but it's rigid. The Pagani, you like every one of them. It looks different.
Yeah,
for the most part. Like there is no. This is this model. It's like this one is this work of art. And the inside, it looks like it looks like you're sitting in a mansion's living room, like with from like the 1950s, where everything has been perfectly immaculately maintained. The fucking shifting pedals look like they're brushed aluminum, and they're coming up off the ground instead of out of the top of the, and it just everything is so fucking gorgeous. And good on them, in my opinion, for using the AMG motor, because why spend all this R&D on another motor to build the platform? Just buy the crate motor and tune the shit out of it and then make this art around it.
Yeah.
That's why I like them more than Koenigsegg. Do you think that this Corvette can hang with hypercars?
Well, no, not at 60 grand, but that's kind of the thing. So you get into the car at 60 grand, you can put another 120 grand into fucking tuning the car, and you're still coming up
$900,000 less than the next one.
Yeah. and for 20 grand, Hennessy will make it as powerful as the fucking Bugatti. So there's so much room for you to spend and figure things out and have fun being a car guy. Can
the tires, like the Michelin Pilot Sports or the Sport Cups, can those hold the, I
don't know. I'm sure they got workarounds.
I'm with you.
In the last so many years, there's been the Hellcat, the Demons.
Right.
There's so many cars that have come out with just way too much. The RTR rockers, the fucking new Shelby. Those things are crazy. Those are probably the next. That's probably the next closest thing power for dollar output.
I would say that's correct too. I think when I saw the Top Gear on that one, the Hellcat, and I can't remember the other one, but that one I think had the best gas mileage at 6 miles a gallon.
Yeah, it did. The Exorcist is the other one, because the Exorcist kills the Demon.
That's right. Yes.
And that's the kind of shit talking that needs to come back to cars, because that's how they used to name cars back in the day. Dude, Di Tomaso named his car the Mangusta, the mongoose. You know what mongooses eat?
What?
Cobras.
Really? I didn't know this. Dude, yeah, I love this now. That's exciting.
Yeah.
These
No,
companies
that's
should
a-
be, because it's all just a bunch of dudes just measuring their dicks anyway. So you might as well talk some shit doing it anyway.
Fuck yeah. Decent also showed up like, nice car, Carol Shelby. Check out my Mangusta. It eats your ass. And they fucking raced. And he lost, and he still didn't care. He's like, I'm going to sell it. I don't even care.
I saw one of those D-test. I'm not sure how to say it. I saw it at the LA Auto Show. Galpin Ford out here has.
Did he have the white one?
Yeah. That's
Carol Shelby's personal car that him and Lee Iacocca used as a secret test bed for the Dodge Viper. They were putting different crate motors in it all the time to figure out what they were gonna do.
They were putting crate motors in the D-Tomoso, yeah.
So like in a late 70s car in the very late 80s, early 90s, Carol Shelby was putting NASCAR motors, current NASCAR motors, in that fucking dangerous ass car, and then driving it around town to figure out how he wanted to build the Viper.
Interesting. That's a mid-engine car too, right?
It is, yeah.
But the Viper's a front-engine car.
Yeah, they were just playing with ideas. They were two guys without permission to play around that were playing around. But that car is one of the most unique cars you will ever see in your fucking. That was Carol Shelby's personal test mule. He was putting in motors and ripping motors out of that motherfucker to figure out what worked best. It was just a tool.
I have pictures of that somewhere, but I know it's a raw file, so I'd have to export it into a JPEG, so I can't show you now. Google
the shitty aluminum trunk cover?
Yeah.
That's because Carol had a NASCAR fucking motor in there. That's not how the trunk looked. That was him modifying it with a TIG welder and a couple pieces of aluminum.
So the back of that though was was kind of not hidden, but it was harder to see. It was definitely the front that you could see better. But yeah, Galpin Autosports has this whole museum of classic cars, everything that you can imagine.
As much as I don't like Bo, I probably agree with him more than anyone in cars.
From Galpin?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's a weirdo to me. I don't trust anybody that dyes their beard that's not on TV. like if you're not on TV and you're dyeing your beard, then you've got like weird mental problems. But he cares more about the preservation of every car.
Yeah.
Than like he and Leno are that same way where it's like, yeah, I don't care if nobody wants to see the steam car. I know it runs and it makes me sleep better at night. Like, and that's how he is. He spent all that money finding Shelby's D-Tomoso and stuff. He could never make that money back. He put more money into that car than he will ever get paid for.
He has, I think he has it. It might have just been on loan for the show because Galpin Auto Show happens every year as well. And he had that Bugatti, that all carbon fiber Bugatti from like the 80s or something, where it like before carbon fiber was easy to make and to mold and shit like that, and they were just throwing away panels of carbon fiber because it didn't work right. He has that Bugatti as well, which is also just a fucking engineering feat, you know.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, that Galpin does it up pretty sweet. He's got a Ferrari F40 in there too, which is gorgeous. He's got a lot of cars, and apparently he's got like a vault of cars in their basement too.
Yeah, it's got a big bank door on it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, no, I watched him a lot. He's got 65 acres of cars in Los Angeles,
something like that. You go up to their main spot. I'm sure he has more of them, but you go up to their main spot, and it's, you know, he's got 8 dealerships, new, used, exotic, Lincoln, Ford, all the things that Lincoln and Ford own. It's crazy.
Yeah, his own speed shops, all that shit.
Yeah. Wow. Well, fuck, man. If we can gather some money together, we should probably just go buy a Corvette C8. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, 2 of them. I want one in brown.
and then we'll pool our money to get a goddamn Hennessy a supercharger or a turbo kit. That is crazy. So I agree with you. I mean, it seems like they have found a way to make a hypercar without having to charge you for a hypercar.
100%. You can go in there and spend less money on it than you'd spend on a Cadillac sedan and leave with something that's going to fuck up everyone on earth.
Wow. Good job, Chevy.
Yeah.
Good job, Chevy.
Bow tie boys for the win.
Shit, man. Wow. Well, that's exciting, dude. Well, as this story develops, we should obviously keep talking about it because I'd like to keep coming back and covering this Stingray because, like I said, this is the first time I've ever been in love with a fucking American car, pretty much ever. And I think that it's just because, fuck, this is a Ferrari made by an American company.
Yeah. I've always appreciated the Corvette for what it was, but this is the first one in my lifetime that I'm in love with.
Yeah, it's dope. It's way dope. It seems like that's a better car than, I mean, if you're gonna get, yeah, pretty much. So, hot damn. Well, all right, I'll go put an order in.
Okay, what color?
Boy, I would definitely not get a red one. That's for sure.
Have you seen the brown ones?
I haven't seen the brown ones.
They look fucking amazing.
You think the brown ones look better than any of the? I mean, I honestly kind of like that gray one. The gray Corvette that I saw. Yeah, the flat gray I saw at the auto show.
Yeah, the flat gray is pretty cool, but I think I'd have to go with the brown.
All right, let's see. What, this like poop brown one?
Yep.
It's more like a bronze or like a greenish brown.
It's like root beer in person.
Yeah, that's like a root beer. That does look pretty cool. I like that they're choosing non-traditional colors. Gray, and it's almost like a bluish gray too.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to save this and show everybody who's watching right now. Save. Let me show you all this.
And the brown one, you can get the flat gray racing stripes on. It looks so good.
All right, this is the brown one right there that Jake's talking about. I kind of like that. I mean, it does look pretty good. It looks weird with the color of the brake calipers to that brown.
What color are they? I don't see your
They're
image.
like gold. Oh, yeah. It's like a yellow. It's like a tennis ball yellow. It's a very sport car looking brake caliper color.
Yeah, there's an option to paint them black. They should be black on it for sure.
Fixing to pull the trigger on a C5. Oh, really? Someone in the chat's gonna pull the trigger on a C5.
Fuck yeah, good work.
Dude, I hear that those C5s right now are like the car to buy.
They are, because for the price, you can't beat it. You get a C5 like for 10 to 12 grand that'll beat the pants off of fucking anything, man.
Dude, one of my buddies on Instagram sent me this. He would tune the SRT4s, those Dodges.
Yeah.
And where is this? Here we go. This thing, so he got this, I think for like cheap, under $10,000. It's this guy right here.
Yeah, man, a Z06 too.
He got that for very cheap.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at this interior too. This interior is in pretty good shape.
Yeah, man, nobody wants them.
Because this new one came out.
No.
Period?
They just didn't want them.
Why not?
Because, dude, again, do you want your single uncle's used car?
JP, what do you think about that, buddy? All right, let's go. All right, I'm going to go to Los Angeles Craigslist right now and see what these C5s are costing.
I have to go outside and have a cigarette. We've been on here for 2 hours.
Well, we've been doing fucking goddamn tech work for 2 hours, but correct. So what? Hang on, Corvette C5. Let's see what these cost.
A lot less than they should by any metric.
There's a supercharged Corvette O2 supercharged Z06 Corvette that's going for 28 grand.
Yeah, but what's it got? 3,000 miles?
No, it's probably more than that. 89 because it's supercharged, so they're trying to get their money back on it.
It's O2 though, so that's a 19-year-old car. It's supposed to have 12,000 a year.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So this, all right. So this '03 Corvette, it's the 50th anniversary edition. This is the one that my buddy. Do you know Todd Jordan? Todd's got a 50th anniversary Corvette, and he's got a 1963 Corvette as well.
Ooh, a split window or a convertible?
Convertible.
Ah, too bad.
Yeah, well, I think he wanted that convertible. So this one's going for, with 94,000 miles on it, the 50th anniversary edition, going for $12,900. This is still more money than I was expecting.
Yeah. Look at them in Denver, bud.
Why? Because it's in L.A.?
Yeah, there's just so many less 50-year-old guys trying to get laid here, you know?
So here's a 92,000 miles, 2001 Corvette for $9 grand.
Yeah.
This thing still looks pretty good. Interesting. $9,000. See, to me though, I still feel like this is more money than I'd want to spend on it because
there's also a bunch of Corvette hype right now. They just wrote an article on Jalopnik last week about how the C5 is the best track car you can buy. It's probably
so
having a real.
Everything's jumping up.
It's probably just kind of having a hot moment.
Sure.
If I was gonna, I promise that if we look for 2 weeks, man, we can find you a great $5,000 to $9,000 Corvette.
JP is about to find one. He said he's looking at an 03, 95,000 original miles, 10K out the door.
Yep.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Interesting. Test drove it at home. Sitting in the drive right now.
And literally the only thing I
test
don't
drove
like.
it home? So you mean you bought it? JP, that's what you mean. I test drove it home. I'm pretty sure that means I purchased this car. Or I stole it. I don't know if you're just admitting to stealing this shit online.
Sometimes people let you do overnight test drives.
Oh, do they really? Boy, that is a level of trust I do not have.
It's a level of credit we don't have.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Interesting. So you think
you come in with an 850, they'll let you borrow shit.
Do you think I just still, in my opinion, if I had the choice, if I had 10 grand to spend right now, I just don't foresee me buying a Corvette. I see me spending that money on like the Boxster that we had talked about.
But that's exactly why the Corvette costs 10 grand, because it's 3 times as fast as that Boxer.
And but can't you like do an easy tune on that Boxer? Because aren't those heavily detuned?
You can do an easier tune to that small block Chevy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. It's got performance parts out the ass. Guys have been building that same concept since the 50s. There's parts for them everywhere. That's why Hennessy's charging that money, because he knows he can get it off of people that are buying new C8s. But in a couple of years, it's not going to be 20 grand to get that kit from Hennessy. It'll be 7 grand.
Okay. Interesting.
It's hype. It'd be like getting a GT4 kit for a new Cayman or Boxer. Like, you'd pay out the ass for it because they know you just bought a new Boxer.
Okay. So but I mean, the Corvette's a much larger car than the Boxer. How is it as nimble? How is it as fun to drive as a Boxer?
On certain tracks, the Boxer would probably beat its ass on corners and whatnot, but you can track that Z06, man. You can set it up to be really trackable.
Interesting. So JP, what are your goals with this new whip you're buying? Are you buying it just to have, or are you trying to go out there and fucking hammer that thing out? What are you trying to do with it? And Jake, for you, would you buy the C5 just to have as is?
I would.
Because
I'd buy
it's
a
still
Z06.
right in that era of cars that I love. I love cars
Yeah.
from 99, really 2000 to like 2006, 2007 maybe.
I'm gonna sound like a weird nitpicky guy, but I'd have a hard time loving anything with pop-up headlights.
I'd be afraid that they fucking break, dude.
Yeah, I hate pop-up headlights.
And there's
They
no
look-
way, yeah, but that's what the
They
C5
look like
is.
shit.
Of course.
I know, but you see one at night, and you're just like, look at that goofball.
So JP, you're gonna use this for a daily driver. So this means what? That you're in an area with cheap gas? Because I can only imagine you don't live in fucking LA.
They're not as bad on gas as you'd think.
I feel like they are. I mean, I know what my 6-cylinder Beamer's doing. I can only imagine these things are 15 miles a gallon. Maybe 12.
27.
I don't believe that.
Well, again, they've been tuning the same thing forever, man.
I don't fucking believe that.
Yeah, 15 miles per gallon in the city, 27 on the highway.
Interesting, man. Interesting. Where did that thing go? Where is that picture? DJ, there he is. Yeah, I don't know if I can get over those either, but this looks, I mean, it does seem like a fun, I guess it seems like a fun car. It's just such a long, big behemoth of a car. It seems like it'd be hard to park in LA. And so do these come? Yeah, I'm sure they come in the stick shift.
They're wider than they are long. It's just a long hood.
Okay.
If that makes sense. It's like parking the front end of a Cadillac, but you don't have the ass behind you.
How's the visibility out of them? Because the visibility, like out of that Camaro I was in, was garbage.
Yeah, no, the rear window and the pillars on the Camaro is bad.
It was really bad.
Yeah, no, the Corvette, he's looking at a notchback, right?
JP, I don't know. What are you looking at?
The one you showed me, I think that was a notchback.
That
Z06.
one was a convertible, or like the top part comes off. If that's what you're referring to.
I think it was just a fixed roof notchback.
It was this right here. Let me go to this one.
Oh no, that's a fastback.
Yeah.
I don't know how the visibility is out of that, but I've been in the C5 notchback Z06 and it's pretty good because the window's right there like a truck.
Okay. All right. Wow. I still feel like 12 grand's more than I expected out of that car. But I guess if it is that great, and I've never really looked at these cars, so I don't really know what it should be. So I guess it's a little car. Visibility is not bad. Top comes off. So he's looking at a fastback is what he's got. Boy, that's a fun daily commute. He says that his gets better gas mileage than his 06 Silverado.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Wow, a C5. All right, so then challenging question: do you go buy a cheap C5 or do you go buy the new Hotness? Obviously, the new Hotness in the C8.
I mean, that's not even a competition for me.
Because you like old cars?
No, I love the C8.
Okay, gotcha.
I think the C5 is a great vehicle, but it's not my favorite Corvette by any stretch.
Sure.
I think it was the first great Corvette between 1967 and now. Really, for a long time, they were fine cars, but through all of the 90s, you could get a Japanese car that did what it did better. Like in 96, you get a Supra or an RX-7 or a fucking 300ZX that were all better than the Corvette. But they were going broke having a horsepower war to get there.
And Chevy was just like, whatever, we don't give a fuck.
They were still trying to get around all the regulations and fuel and all that shit. They never got back to where they were until the 90s.
Yeah.
96 was the first good one, and then the C5 was the first solid full model.
Nice. Dude,
Yeah.
10 grand for a solid fucking, what are those, 400 horsepower? And,
Yeah.
and then you can
405.
supercharge or turbocharge that, and then you're just fucking, oof.
Money.
Wow. All right, American cars. Like I said, a buddy of mine who I'm going to talk to soon put a LS motor in his M3, his E46 M3. And although if you look at this, it's fucking gorgeous. I think he bought the car with a blown motor.
I mean, that's cool, but they sell Beamer motors.
So you're anti. So at that point, if you're doing that, then you would want to put a German motor in the car. You wouldn't. You're not a big fan of dropping the American motor in the German car, or just that motor in that car.
Well, I'm not a fan of doing it to modern cars or cars that, how do I explain this? Because like I don't have a problem with somebody doing it in a Jag. I wouldn't buy one, to be fair, but like I don't judge somebody who did it in an old school Jag, because in 1985 you couldn't buy a fucking Jag crate motor, period, anywhere, like at all. You had to go find somebody with a total Jag that had the motor pulled out of it and rebuilt to get a Jag motor.
Gotcha.
And that's true with everything. That's why when I was growing up, man, if you went to a Good Guys Hot Rod show, every car there, unless some weird freak asshole was driving it or it had a rare motor, was running a GM motor.
Wow.
Like unless it was a Shelby Cobra or a Mustang, or you know what I mean, somebody
Right.
like tied or a muscle car. But if you looked at a 32 Ford or a 32 fucking Lincoln or a 32 LaSalle or any car that people were hot rodding, you put a Chevy in it because that's what you could get that was good. You couldn't get a good Ford motor. They were building different shit all the time. They kept updating their line. The 5.0 in the 80s that they were putting in the cars wasn't nearly as good as the 60s 350.
I remember.
So
5.0.
yeah, so and it's a good motor, don't get me wrong, and now you can tune it because they make parts for that. But yeah, with like modern cars, I just don't like switching the motor. But if you're gonna build like an old Borg Ward or something, put whatever the fuck you want in it. You can't get a Borg Ward motor to save your life.
Okay.
But yeah, like a Beamer, put a Beamer in it. Put a new Beamer in it. Put a Beamer in it.
It does. It's very weird to see this car and hear it, because I've seen it live, and it's very weird to hear it pull up, because you hear that like it just it just struggling. It seems like struggling to stay on, and it was fucking good lord.
Yeah, I could find you a nice Corvette here, a C5 for like 7,900. It looks like.
Interesting.
Yeah. Is that a Z06? Yeah. $7,900.
Interesting. Well, so I think the conclusion is Corvette C8, amazing car. Buy one if you can. Typical American fashion, rushing it, getting it out too fast without any testing, and poor fucking build quality. But you got to commend them for putting out a car that's that great, that is, still came fucked up, and folks are still thrilled with it.
Yeah, it's unfuckable.
That's great. Okay. Well, Jake, I appreciate you hopping in here to chat about this. Let's talk about the Testarossa next time, because I want to talk about that Ferrari, because I'm excited, because I've learned a lot of interesting stuff about that Ferrari Testarossa, and I think it's got a pretty cool backstory. So we'll save that for another episode.
Yeah.
Jake, if you want people to follow you, do you want them to follow you? Tell them how to find you if you want to.
Yeah, if you want to follow me, I guess I'm _Becktown on Twitter, and I believe I'm Becker WAC on Instagram.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Go ahead and push followers to a thing you don't even fucking want.
No, but those are both tagged by the people I like run podcasts with and stuff. So
Oh, gotcha.
It'll take you to my things. I just don't really post on them.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Also, if you want to come by Mutiny Information Cafe, I sell comic books there.
That's in Denver, Colorado, everybody.
Yep.
Since we're on
2 South
YouTube.
Broadway.
That's right. Chatting in the thing. More car talk.
Hell
JP,
yeah.
thanks for the subscription. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. We got more car talk coming. I don't know why I'm typing this right now. Now that I just said it out loud, but thanks for tuning in all the way from Mississippi. Okay, that makes sense where the cheap gas and the rural drive is. That makes way more sense. I'm in Los Angeles right now, and it is ridiculous. So we will see you next time, JP. Thanks again. And Becker, thank you for tuning in. We'll talk and schedule another call later on this week. And
Hell yeah.
And we'll go from there. Until then, don't go spending too much money because we're still in a quarantine and a pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, dude. We'll talk at you soon. Thanks again, man.
Love you.
Later, buddy.
Bye.
All righty-roo, everyone. That was Jake Becker. Thanks so much for tuning in to our show today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me fix this channel. Oh boy, this is all fucked up. Well, I didn't have this part scheduled. The Brent Gill show. This will work right there. Fade it. There we go. Thanks so much for tuning into the channel, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed our show today. Fun stuff talking about that Corvette C8. I knew it from the get-go. I fucking loved these cars from the get-go, and now I am pumped. I am pumped to be able to confirm that they're great. So if you have any comments you want to say on it, please comment below. If you have questions you want us to address on the next episode, email me at thebrentgillep@gmail.com. And until next time, stay safe, wear those seatbelts, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.